Hi everyone, I am welcoming you all to the session 5 of Unit 2. In the previous session, we discussed about case study of student management system and also we did an activity how to draw the use case diagram of our own for the given applications. In this session, we'll see case study of ATM transaction, extensions, developing the use cases, and lastly, step-by-step approach for the analysis of this use cases. In this session, we are taking an example of ATM system use case diagram. As we all know that in our day-to-day life, most of us are using this ATM transaction. Being a technical background, we should think how exactly the ATM system works. It's not about we are depositing an amount, we are withdrawing an amount, or we are seeing the balance amount. It is our duty, being a technical background students, we should think how at the back end these particular things is working. So in this case diagram example, we'll see how we can write the use case diagram. Once we write the use case diagram by satisfying all the functional requirements of a software, then we can go ahead with the further steps. Now we'll see what are all the possible use cases and the actors that has been defined in a particular ATM system. If we look at the extreme end, that is left side, this diagram defines mainly two actors or two primary actors, namely operator, customer, and the bank. So in this scenario, we are considering three main actors. One is operator, second one is customer, and the third one is bank. Now we'll see along with these actors how to define a use cases for this application, and also we have to name all the use cases with a unique names. First, coming to the operator. The operator performs system startup. Whenever the user or the customer comes to the ATM, the first thing the operator does is it recognizes the presence of a customer and starts the system by using a use case system startup. And after the customer has been done with his transaction, the operator comes to know that no longer transaction has been conducted in this particular session. Now it starts with a use case system shutdown. The second main actor here we have is customer. The customer enters the ATM machine center and he starts with the session. He starts with the session by entering the PIN. He'll be having a debit card and each debit card will be having a PIN. The system asks the customer to enter the valid PIN. If the customer enters the valid PIN, then he enters into a use case called transaction. If the customer enters the invalid PIN, that is wrong PIN, the system again asks the user to provide the valid PIN or the correct PIN. If the customer keeps entering the wrong PIN more than 2 times or more than 3 times, the system may block the debit card and displays that invalid PIN, and currently the card has been blocked for next 24 hours. I think that these things we might have experienced. So the customer should take care before entering the PIN. It should be valid. If it is valid, then only it enters into a transaction use cases. When the customer enters the transaction session, the transaction either may be withdrawal, or it may be deposit, or it may be transfer, or it may be inquiry of the balance amount. So not only these transactions, there can be many transactions too, depending upon the necessity of the customer. In this use case diagram, we are considering only these 4 transactions. And when doing this kind of transaction, these will be associated with the respective banks. Once the customer enters the valid PIN, then only he can start with the transaction. Now we'll see in detail what are all the different use cases that comes in the ATM system. As we see in the diagram, the first use case we are recognizing here is system startup use case. Second, we are considering as system shutdown use case. Third, we are considering as session use case. Fourth, we are considering as transaction use case. In the transaction use case, we may see withdrawal transaction use case, deposit transaction use case, transfer transaction use case, inquiry transaction use case, or invalid PIN extension. These are the possible use cases that has been associated in the diagram. As I said, we can create any of the use cases depending upon the applications. So these are the use cases, and mainly we have 3 actors or 3 primary actors: operator, customer, and the bank. Here the operator and the customer are a main actor person. Here the bank can act as a system. Now we'll see in detail what exactly happens in first use case. System startup use case. The system is started up when the operator turns the operator switch to the on position. That means the system use case will be started when the operator turns the switch into the on position. Once it been switched on, the operator will be asked to enter the amount of money currently in the cash dispenser, and a connection to the bank will be established. Here the customer will be asked to enter how much money he is currently wanted, and then once he enters the amount, the connection will be established to the respective bank. Once the connection is successful, then the servicing of the customer can begin. We might have experienced that sometimes the connection establishment to the bank is failed and it displays a error message called server busy. You can please try later. All these things that we will experiencing in our transaction, right? That happens when there is no establishment is done between the bank and the customer. Second use case, system shutdown use case. The system is shut down when the operator makes sure that no customer is using the machine. Before shutting down the operation, the system will make sure that no customer is there and no transaction is ready to go happen, and turns on the operator switch to the off position. When there is no customer, it will turns off the operator switch. Third use case, session use case. A session is started when a customer inserts an ATM card into the card reader slot of the machine. I think we have all seen this. Whenever we enter the ATM machine, there will be a slot. When we want to start any of the session, we have to insert the ATM card into the respective slot. Once you put the ATM card into the machine, there will be a chip or the card which will be having all the data. That data will be read from the memory card. As soon as you put a card into a slot, the ATM pulls the card into the machine. It takes inside the machine and reads it with the help of a chip. Now, after the completing the reading, the customer is asked to enter the PIN and then allowed to perform one or more transaction. Once it reads the card that has been put into the slot, the customer is asked to enter the PIN and then allowed to perform the transaction he is interested. If the possible transaction, he can do one or more depending upon his interest. The session use case starts only upon the entering of the correct credentials of the PIN. Once the PIN is not correct, or if you are entering a wrong PIN, the session will not start. It will display a message like, please enter a valid PIN. The fourth use case we have is transaction use case. A transaction use case is started within a session. Once the session has been started, the transaction use case will also start in turn. When the customer chooses a transaction type from the menu of options, since the transaction containing many of the options, the transaction case starts from the menu of option. In the transaction use case, the first thing we can have is withdrawal transaction use case, right? Very oftenly we'll go to the ATM to withdraw the amount. When you want to withdraw the amount, the ATM will ask you to insert the card inside the slot. Then you have to enter a PIN and then you enter the amount you wish to withdraw. So once you enter the amount you wish to withdraw, this will be connection will be established between the bank and it checks whether there will be a proper fund for this or not. It checks with the bank, is there cash is enough or not. If satisfies the condition, that is enough cash is present in the dispenser, then you can withdraw the money. And also it displays a message like transaction success. You can take a amount and it also asks whether you want to take a printout or not. If you want to take a printout of a withdrawal session, you can take a print and check for the remaining amount that is there in your account. This is the first possible transaction we can see. The second transaction you can see is deposit the amount. In the beginning, ATM were allowed only to withdraw the amount, but nowadays there is a option for deposit the amount in which we are interested. Here, as soon as you enter the ATM center, we have to put the ATM card inside the slot, type the valid PIN, then check the options, that is deposit amount, and you can put the cash into the cash dispenser where it takes a amount. So once you put the cash envelope inside the machine, it will ask that to which account number you want to put the money. So it will ask that enter the account number. Once you enter the account number, it checks whether it is in same bank or a different bank or a same branch. After the successful inquiry of all this information, it will take a cash slip or a cash envelope from the machine and puts the inside. Once it is done, it will update the records by printing the receipt. If you want to take a hard copy, you can take a print or you can get the updated data. This is the second transaction use case we can see. And the third transaction use case we see is transfer the amount. Transfer the amount can also be done by entering the amount or account details of a person whom you wish to transfer the amount. First, it asks for a valid PIN. After the successful login with the proper PIN, it asks to which account you want to transfer the money. You should select the name of the customer, account number, bank, IFSC code. By entering the proper details, if it is valid, then it asks for the amount that you need to transfer. Once you enter the amount, it will ask you to recheck again. Once you confirm, the amount will be transferred to the particular account which you are interested. And also it checks before transferring whether there is a sufficient funds in your account. If there is no sufficient funds, then it says an error message saying that transaction failed. We must ensure that before transferring there will be a sufficient amount in the account. And the last but not the least transaction use case we might encounter here is inquiry. This is a simpler one which doesn't require much thing. Simply you are inquiring the data, that is amount debited, amount credited, or the interest credited, or the operations that you have performed in the last transactions. So it doesn't involve any amount transaction. It only says that it gives a data that what all you have done in the last 10 activities, like you can withdraw the amount, you can deposit the amount, or what is the balance amount, or what is the interest credited. All these informations can be provided by this option. And ATM also asks us to print receipt for this. If you want, you can take a print of this receipt. ATM system use case diagram continued, and the last use case we have is invalid PIN extension. An invalid PIN extension is started from within a transaction when the bank reports that the customer's transaction is disapproved due to an invalid PIN. As I said, every transaction will start with the entering of the valid PIN. If you enter the wrong PIN, it will not enter into a transaction use case, and there will be a no session happens. The customer is required to re-enter the PIN, and the original request is sent to the bank again. By chance, by mistake, if you have entered an invalid PIN, the customer is again asked to enter a PIN, that is re-entering of the ATM PIN, and again the original request has been sent to the bank again. Once if you enter the right PIN, again it starts with the transaction and the new session will be started. So these are the possible use cases that can be seen in the ATM system. As I said, these are the very basic use cases that we have defined. You can also define many of the possible use cases of your own. Extensions. As I said, if you want to include the more use cases to the use case diagram, there will be an applications of more and more subsystems. So definitely in the practical applications, there will be a use cases with a one or more subsystems. So that can be seen in the topic extensions. The system being built may has many subsystems. These system use cases captures the behavior of some subsystem by specifying the scope of that use case as the subsystem. As I said, in the practical approach, we need many subsystems, and these subsystems are usually arranged in a hierarchical manner so that it can be easily recognized its scope and the functionality. So usually the system will be having more systems, and all these subsystems may capture the behavior of the subsystem by specifying the scope of that particular use case. For example, if we take a use case for a system, maybe a login. Login is a simple use case. It is a part of the system. That interaction of the user with the system described in this use case is limited with the only interaction of login and authentication subsystem. Suppose if I considered login as a system use cases, the possible subsystem for the login use case is login and authentication or authorization. All these subsystems comes under the login. Let us take in one example of this kind of extension scenario. In the previous session, we have discussed a case study called University Auction System, where the seller wants to sell an item of his choice and the buyer wants to bid the item of his interest. Let us take in same example and define one extension scenario for this. Here, we are considering a use case, auction and system. The first step here is to identify the primary actor. Since there is no person actor here, we are considering a system. The primary actor here is auction system, scope, auction conducting organization, and we are defining main success scenario. If all the operations goes in a correct manner, we call it as a main success scenario. Seller performs put an item for auction. Seller puts an item for an auction. Various bidders performs make a bid. Those who wants to buy something can make a bid. On final date, complete the auction of the time. We have to mention the final date for the completion of the auction. Lastly, get feedback from seller and also get feedback from buyer and update the same in the records. If everything goes successfully, we have to get the feedback from the seller, get the feedback from the buyer and update the records. This is the possible extension scenario of the university auction system. In the extension scenario, use cases may specify post conditions for the main success scenario. It means there will be some minimal guarantee that will be provided in the condition. The most common minimal guarantee, we call it as atomicity. This is a minimal guarantee given by all the use cases. Atomicity. Atomicity means the entire transaction will be completed and the goal is achieved. Or the system state will be as if nothing was done. Atomicity means all the transactions are completely done or no transaction is done. There will be no partial result saved anywhere. So this is a minimal guarantee that is given by all the use cases. Atomicity in the sense all the use cases are transactions are completed and achieved the goal or nothing has been done, which means there is no partial results that has been. If it is some transactions are done, that will also be rolled back and the systems comes to the beginning state. developing use cases. In all the previous sessions, we discussed how to develop the use case diagram with the help of case studies. In the first session, we considered a case study of universal auction system. In the next session, we considered a student database management system case study. In this session, we considered the ATM transaction use cases. With all these case studies, we'll generalize how we can develop the use cases. While developing the use cases, we can identify the different levels or different hierarchies. Generally, we are identifying 4 levels. The first level is actors and goals. It specifies the actors for each goal. It gives a brief description of each of the use cases. As I said, before starting with any use cases, we should identify the actors and the goals. This specifies the brief description what exactly the use case is going to do. The second level we are concentrating here is defining the main success scenario. After identifying the actors and the goals for each of the use cases, the success scenarios are provided. The meaning of the word success scenario is all the transactions are successfully done and complete, and what should be the system behavior of each use cases at the specified level. Success means there is no exceptions, all the things are completely done. The third level, failure conditions. But practically speaking, it's not possible that every time we'll end up with a success scenario. There could be chances of getting the failures also. So when we get the failure, we cannot leave the system as such. We should think how these failure conditions can be analyzed and how it can be handled and how this can be converted into a success scenario. The third level here we have is failure conditions. Once the success scenario is listed, it is very much essential that we should also list all the possible failure conditions that might occur. And the fourth level we have is failure handling. Once the failure conditions has been identified, we cannot leave it as such. We should also provide the steps how to handle and overcome these failure conditions. Determining what should be the behavior under different failure conditions will definitely identify the new roles or new actors. As I said, if there is no sufficient fund in the account, it will first recognize it as a failure condition and it handles the failure condition by displaying an error message on the screen saying that no sufficient amount in the account. So this is how we should identify the failure condition, and we should handle the first step in handling this, at least display a error message so that the user or customer will come to know that why the transaction is not happening. It is a very basic thing, is we should give a error message. Now, step-by-step approach for analysis. We'll see the steps that has been used for the analysis of use case. First step, identify the actors and their goals and get an agreement with the concerned stakeholders as to the goals. The actor goal list will clearly define the scope of the system. To start with the analysis, our first step is to identify the actors and their goals and get an agreement between these actors and the stakeholders. So this will be very helpful in the completion of the goal. Once it is done, it clearly defines the requirement or scope of the system. Step 2. Understand and specify the main success scenario for each UC, giving more details about the main functions of the system. After identifying this, we should identify the main success scenario for all the use cases that has been defined in the step 1. We should be more specific by giving more details about these main functions. Step 3. When the main success scenario for a use case is agreed, once the use case has been agreed, the main step in the executions are specified, and then the failure conditions can be examined. Once the failure conditions are identified, these failure conditions must be handled by the system. We should identify the failure conditions and that must be handled by the system. Step 4. We should define the measures for these failure conditions. After handling, we should also take the measures. That means how to convert these failure into a main success scenario. These measures will definitely identify the different use cases and different actors, and there may be also a different levels of failures, and we should get the details of all the possible scenarios of the failure so that we can easily try to handle it and convert these failure scenarios into a successful scenarios. So this step-by-step approach will definitely help us to go ahead with a more efficient approach for the construction of use case diagrams. With these concepts, we'll assume that we are all having a sufficient knowledge about the use cases, use case terms, and different use cases, how we can write a different use cases for different applications. We also seen different use case diagram case studies. How could be the extension scenarios for all these case studies, and what is a general step to write the use cases, and how we can use the step-by-step approach for the analysis of these use cases. With this knowledge, we'll try to solve few questions on this. First question, first multiple choice question. In system startup use case. Option A, the system is started up and turns the operator switch to the on position. Option B, the system is started up and turns the operator switch to the off position. Option C, the system is started up and turns the operator switch to the neutral position. Option D, none of the mentioned above. As we all know that in order to start the system, we should on the switch to the on position. That is, best suitable answer for the question number 1 is option A. Turns the operator switch to the on position. Second question. What are the methods in which use case diagrams can be written? Option A. Actors in a use case are almost always stakeholders. Option B. Preconditions must be true before statement begins. Option C. Need list should be reviewed when writing each use case. Option D. All of the mentioned. As we know, use case description contains all the three. It contains actors, it contains preconditions, and also be reviewed In each cases, the best suitable option for the question 2 is option D, all of the mentioned. Question 3. In system shutdown use cases. Option A. The system is turned on and turns the operator switch to the on position. The system is turned on and turns the operator switch to the off position. The system is turned on and turns the operator switch to the neutral position. None of the mentioned. As we know, system shutdown happens when we turn down the system and operator switch to the off position. So the best suitable answer is option B. Fourth question. The use case description includes which of this? Option A. Fill in the use case template from top to bottom. Write simple declarative sentences in active voice. Avoid sequence of steps by the actors and product. Option D. All of the mentioned. We know use case descriptions uses a template. It can use the declarative statements, or we also know sequence of steps followed by the actors. So the best option for this question 4 is option D, all of the mentioned. Fifth question. A different alternative must consist of different actors. Option B. Different use cases. Option C. Different overall product functionality. Option D. All of the mentioned. As we know, an alternative must contain the actors, use cases as well as the functionality. The best suitable option for this question is option D. A transaction use case is started within a session when the customer chooses a option A. Transaction, option B. Scenario, option C. Auction, option D. None of the mentioned. So we all know that transaction use case is started when we choose a transaction. So the best suitable answer for this question is option A, transaction. Question number 7. Login and authentication are examples of option A, system, option B, subsystem, option C, both, option D, all of the mentioned. We know it contains a subsystem, system, or both. So the suitable answer for the question 7 is option C, both. Which of the following UL diagrams has a static view? Option A, collaboration. Option B, use case. Option C, state chart. Option D, activity. We know use case diagram is the best example of static view. So the suitable option for the question 8 is option B, use case. 9th question. Determining what should be the behavior under different failure condition is termed as option A, failure handling, option B, success scenario, option C, both, option D, none of the above. As I said, we should determine the failure conditions when it happens. That is called as a failure handling. So the best suitable answer for the question 9 is option A, failure handling. 10th question. A transaction use case is started within a session when a customer chooses a option A, transaction, scenario, option C, auction, option D, none of the mentioned. We know the transaction starts with a transaction session. So the best option here we have is option A, transaction. With this, I hope you all clear about the use case diagrams, and by this time we are all able to write the use case diagrams of our own for any given application. Thank you.